Wham! Talk 1600. You're catching the drift. Conservative talk. Intelligent conversations on local, state, and national issues with Gary Wellings, chief editor of the Current newspaper and Current Online. Join in the conversation at 734-822-1600. And now, your host, Gary Wellings.
Hey, and good Saturday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to catch our drift. Joining me in studio, Alex Wassell.
Hi, it's great to be here, and I'm happy to sit in for Ed Bondarenka.
Yeah, Ed's off, we'll say on assignment, but I think he's just out enjoying a little personal time, so that's good that he gets away occasionally, like I did last week. And I you know what I did last week? Why I couldn't be here? I put a lift kit on my Jeep Cherokee.
Oh, that's great.
And it took me like 4 years to find it. Finally got it done, and then was able to, I needed tires really bad, and I had to get these bigger tires that I wanted. So I finally spent a little money on my car, which I haven't done since like the 90s, you know, in something for me personally to enjoy. So it was nice. I took the weekend off last week and managed to get through it. So what we do on The Drift every Saturday is go over the news that we put on thedailydrift.com. It's
the news you need to know.
Oh, so you picked that right up. Bang, you got it. So, yeah, I'm glad you stopped in to help us out today, man. That's awesome. We missed you. You call in most weekends anyways. So,
I tried to.
Yeah. And Derek, I was kind of thinking, how many of us that are hosts now were just listeners at one time? So many of us, I think, were just listeners at one time, and we ended up being hosts on this station. Isn't that kind of strange?
It's a great resource.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have the smartest listeners in radio, I think, and that's probably why. So, well, let's take care of a little business. Time Auto. If you're looking for a second car or a used car or maybe your first car, Time Auto Sales in Plymouth, 734-455-5566. They can get a 20-minute approval done, no co-signers, no turn-downs, no co-signers, you name it, they can get it done. 199 Plymouth Road. Time Auto Sales. That's T-Y-M-E Auto Sales in Plymouth. And in some cases, you can even get 0% interest. So if you're looking for a second car, winter car, maybe a car for your kids, Time Auto is the way to go. 734-455-5566. I drive by there fairly regularly, and I always got good cars in the lot.
Yeah, it's right by my house, and a lot of nice vehicles out there.
Yeah, great place. All right, so if there's anything that you want to email me about, Gary at thedailydrift.com, feel free to email in. And but you can also call into the show today, 734-822-1600, and we'll talk about whatever you want to do. But we're going to start with Joe Biden. And I know, Alex, you're going to have a whole lot to say about Old Foot and Mouth Joe, as I call him. That's the hashtag I probably use most often with Joe Biden. And he went right into it yesterday, I think, on The View. Did you see this?
No, I missed that one.
Okay, so
There's so many.
I get the snippets out of The View because there's just no way I could sit and listen to those hags. They're just ignorant. They really are. And Joe had to come out, and while explaining his time with the Obama administration, he had to say, we never had one whisper of a scandal. And I just went, did you really go there, Joe? Did you really say there were no scandals at all with the Obama administration? Come on. Can you list them for me?
Let's see. What was that gun running scandal? The
Fast and Furious.
That's one. Yeah. Let's see.
And Brian Terry died in that.
Yep.
We lost a border agent because of that.
Absolutely. Also, let's see, there was the, Benghazi scandal.
Hello, Benghazi.
Yeah. Let's see, what else? Weren't they spying on Americans and using the IRS against conservative groups?
Correct. And they also spied on the Senate? Wasn't that Brennan spying on the Senate?
Oh, yeah. You mean the Gus Hall supporter, Brennan? How could he ever get that position by voting for the Communist Party presidential candidate and then passing a background check?
Yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, Mr. Obama and Mr. Biden, wasn't it your attorney general who pled the fifth? Has any attorney general other than him ever pled the fifth in a hearing?
We'll have to look that one up.
I don't think that I'm not sure we even need to. I'm pretty sure that's positive.
Yep.
But it's amazing that Joe Biden could start off his campaign with a gaffe like that. And to make matters worse, you saw part of his opening video that he put out, right? Right to Charlottesville and trying to divide the country over race. Is this the best the Democrats have?
Well, I think it is, because if you look at all the other candidates, they're so much wackier than old Groper Joe.
Yeah. Well, here's my take on it. I think old Joe and old Bernie are going to be eaten alive by the Democratic Party. I really don't believe there's room in the new Democratic Party today for the old rich white guys. And Bernie, no matter how much he says he's a socialist, he's shown quite clearly on the Fox News town hall that he did that he's no socialist. Not for himself, for you and I maybe, but he's not willing to pay additional taxes on his money.
Well, he's got $1 million in the bank from the book deal.
Yeah. And 3 homes, one on a lake, a multi-million-dollar home, that expensive car that we see him driving all the time, that sports car, right? Like, come on, Bernie, really?
It sort of reminds me of the old Soviet Union. The Politburo would have all their private resorts, the dakas. Yep. They'd be driving in limousines. They'd have the first pick at the grocery store, at buying any new luxury items, no problem.
Yeah.
But the rest of the people had to suffer under socialism, stand in line, not get what they needed, and live a miserable life.
And I guess it comes down to the fact that so many of our young people today are not learning that history. I mean, shouldn't there be a class in college or maybe even in high school where they talk about the problems with the Soviet Union and why it failed and how people suffered under that? Not just the Soviet Union. You can go to the Khmer Rouge, you can go to China, you can go to Venezuela, you can go to Cuba, you can go to all these countries that have been socialist at one time or another. Some still are. And life is miserable. Life is miserable in Cuba. I mean, they like to say everybody's got an education and everybody's got medical care, but really, they're stuck there.
Well, that would entail a education system that actually fairly portrayed both economic systems, socialism, capitalism, and the free market, and that's long gone.
Yeah.
I don't see it turning around anytime soon.
No, and that's why I always tell people, you know what, if you're going to complain, here's the one thing you can do. Run for school board. It's a fairly easy seat to win because the people that normally run don't have money. They're just there. They've been running for years. They're old socialists. They're old, highly liberal. And you can beat them with a little money, a little advertising, a little door knocking. You can get a spot on the school board. What you need to do is run a slate of people, be conservatives, and steal that educational system back from the ground up. Let's take a call from our missing compadre, Ed Bondarenka. Ipsy Ed, where are you at?
Hey, how you doing? Oh, well, I'm on my way to my grandson's birthday party, so I appreciate Alex coming in.
Yeah.
We were talking about Cuba and the quality of life, but everybody there gets to drive a 55 Chevy.
How cool is that?
I drive a 55 Chevy.
That's all they have are 55 Chevy.
As far as the scandals are concerned, let's see, you missed the one about where they were spying on the next president and the president of the United States and attempting a coup.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So the one thing about the Biden rollout, and then I'll get out of your way, I just was flabbergasted when in his video he talked about how this was his opportunity to make America as good as it used to be. I mean, I've heard that somewhere before in a more concise, statement. I'm trying to figure out it's kind of like, where did I hear that before? Make America as good as it used to be.
Where did really he said that?
Yes,
I missed
he
it.
did. Yeah, I heard that in Breitbart.
It's going to be a fun, gaffe-filled election cycle. I can assure you that it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot. I'll talk to you guys later, and I'm listening in.
All right, Ed. Have fun. Take care. Let's take a call from Mark in Howell. Wants to weigh in on our Democratic presidential candidates so far. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me on today. I just wanted to mention the news you know you need. This kissing bug that I've heard about, Theron talked about it on his show. Joe Biden brought that in,
Yeah.
And the candidates running for on the Democratic Party side remind me of the old show, The Gong Show. Do you remember The Gong Show?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Chuck Berry, Chuck Barris.
Act, and then they didn't pass the muster that somebody would from the panel would get up and hit the gong, And does this take away from votes? Unless somebody's running independently, that could take away from the Democrats, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking Howard Schultz.
Okay. How about a Green Party candidate?
It could be another Green Party candidate. If Howard Schultz stays in the race and runs as an independent, I'll put my $20 on the line right now. Donald Trump will win again because he's going to suck away enough of what remains of the Democratic Party that are old school Democrats, which will probably be the older folks, right? Hopefully some union guys who just can't vote Republican for whatever. I don't believe that they want a communist like Bernie. I don't believe they want a Kamala Harris or a Cory Booker or these people who are all willing to go after a Green Deal type of thing that would destroy our country. Most working class Americans know that kind of procedure, a Green New Deal type of thing, will destroy the country. And so that's where a guy like Howard Schultz has a chance. I don't know that he'll steal too much from the Republican conservative side. I mean, you might get the Never-Trumpers.
That's interesting because where you're going with that was kind of my thought, too, that could it be a phenomena like the Trump phenomena was where, some of these Democrats that are seeing the light would vote for somebody like this Hughes gentleman, to split the vote, so to speak, but I don't think it'd be enough to overcome Donald Trump's campaign, correct?
I don't believe so. I really think that, having a third party is still so far out of reach because we're still basically a two-party system. I frankly would like to see a 3 or 4 party system because this deadlock that we have right now with the two parties, we're going nowhere. I mean, if you had a third viable party or a fourth viable party, you could put together like they do in Parliament, right? You get this consortium of people. You've got to get those different parties to work together in some fashion. You're never going to get the Democrats and the Republicans at this point. It seems impossible to get a Democrat to vote for anything that's going to help a Republican and vice versa.
Exactly, and we even see that down here on the local levels in our state, of Michigan, for example. Now, the candidates running for all these Democrats running, who do you see in a power position right now out of all those people?
On the Democratic side, who do you think, Alex?
Well, Bernie's going to be in there, I'm sure. I don't know about the others because they're so scattered and their ideas are so wild, but Bernie's the one.
I think Biden will kind of go for that moderate side, but I really think the target's going to be on his back. If he's the front runner, as they're saying, and that's what the Democrats like Pelosi would probably prefer a Biden. But the young ones, the AOCs, the rest of them, they're going to they don't want, number one, the old white guy on there. They don't. So I think Joe Biden is not going to succeed. I really don't. Bernie's the one that I think has the best ground game, right? He's got all his troops from before. The millennials still love Bernie. I think Bernie is probably the guy, even if he's not hitting top in the poll. And who's to believe the polls anyways?
Yeah, I don't.
All right, Mark, do you believe any of the polls you're seeing?
Oh, no, never, because I've never gotten a call on one of those polls anyways. I think they choose who they poll,
Yeah, I agree 100%. They were so wrong in the last election. For anyone to say Bernie or Biden is beating Trump in a head-to-head right now, please, come on. There's just no way.
And, if they do poll you or your guest host today or myself, they're going to toss that one in the trash. It would never make the muster anyways because we know how we would poll against them. So I guess we have to be serious about Sanders here. I know Theron was talking about that, and I guess we got to be very serious about him, having the power position. Thanks, gentlemen, and I'll enjoy your show.
All right, take care, Mark. Thanks for the call.
Bye now.
So, yeah, Bernie's for me. If I have to pick a strong player, I'd say it's Bernie, because he's got the money, he's got the ability to raise money, he's got the message. It's crazy